Hey, what's good? It's Keith. Back with another video. We last time, last what? Okay, the last 2 or 3 videos have. One of them I accidentally was. I do this thing sometimes. I'm gonna post them sometimes, not all the time though. But they're usually really long videos of me trying to find someone's birthday, without looking it up. But that's not the point of this video. Whatever. Either way, we haven't done tier lists for about, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks. I don't fucking know, right? We haven't done tier lists in a minute, and it's not going to be on Full Metal, Avatar, any shows this time. That'll come in the future though, once I've digested more, thought about it more. But we're gonna talk about one of, if not my favorite rapper, just artist in general in all music of all time. I want to preface this with a few things. Like, first of all, I'm a teenage white boy, so I do not understand the struggles of being black and growing up in Compton. However, that doesn't mean I don't ever relate to any of the struggle at all. Like, I think no matter who you are, you can find some amount of relation to the struggle, or like, you have to be such a you have to be in a very specific situation to not be able to relate to any of the drug issues, none of the political issues, drugs, being poor, growing up in the hood, like things like that. Like that, just most people have experienced one and can relate to it. But I just want to preface this by saying my opinion probably, and rightfully so, doesn't matter as much as somebody else's, whether, you know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. And I only started listening to hip hop and rap and stuff in like early mid 2019. So again, my opinion is not as valid as somebody else who's been listening for a long time. But I'd say of all the artists, he's my most listened to. I can say I have a pretty good opinion. It's based on how much I enjoyed the album. Obviously, I enjoy writing a lot. I enjoy poetry. Yeah, fucking weird thing, right? But so obviously good writing is a attractive thing, but it's how much I enjoyed it when it comes down to it. So we're gonna spend a good bit of time on each album, and yeah, that's it. Let's go. I'm gonna start off just going in order. We have the Black Panther album. The Black Panther album is not as, like, when people mention Kendrick's discog, they mostly mention To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, Section 80. You'll have people mention Untitled Unmastered sometimes. There might be Overly Dedicated here. You might even have some of his mixtapes, or stuff like that, right? But Black Panther is one that I don't see mentioned at all, really, when it comes to these 5, and Overly Dedicated, which is in here, which is more of an EP, I think, right? Or I don't know, it shows up in his albums. But Black Panther is my least listened to of all of them. But obviously there are some proper bangers on this, popular, unpopular, like there's some good sleepers on this. Is what I'm trying to say. Obviously every song doesn't include Kendrick. There are some songs that straight up just don't have him. So it immediately becomes less of a Kendrick project and more of just, the Black Panther project. Overall, I'm no Fantano, and I don't think he's even rated this album, but like, I'm gonna give this album, like, it's not amazing or god tier, and I don't even know if I consider myself pretty harsh, because when most people say, like, oh, it's 5 out of 10, most people almost instinctively, like, make that sound out to be trash, I guess. I shouldn't say it's trash, but when you really, like, think about it, it's that literally means it's, like, middle of the pack. It's 5 out of 10. It's completely average. 10 out of 10 is perfection. 0 out of 10 is the worst thing you've ever heard. Like, that's how I'm doing this kind of rating. So, good. That's 5, 6. That's like, yeah, that's a 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 rating. It's although I wouldn't give it a 4, I'd give it like a 6. I'd give it like a 6 or a 7. And I'm going to put in good. It's the worst of all of these, though, and I think everyone can agree on that. There are, again, some bangers, like King's Dead, All the Stars, obviously, which are probably the 2 most popular. But, hey, things are popular for a reason. speaking of things that are popular for a reason, Untitled Unmastered is not popular, but I'd go as far to say it's amazing. If it's great easily, if not amazing. Obviously, it's hard. Like, they're just such good tracks. Granted, they're the scrapaways from this masterpiece, but they all bang. I think some of my favorites would probably be Untitled 02, which is the Get God on the Phone, or Untitled 07, which sounds like elevator music for a while, but it still slaps. I think that's the one that sounds like elevator music. There's one of those Untitled. I think it's 07. Call me a bozo, but I think, yeah, 02, 07, and 04 are probably my favorites on it. It's only 8 or 9. Okay, I'm back. I had it all mixed up. Untitled 06 is the one that starts out like elevator music. That one slaps. Untitled 07 still slaps, but it isn't the elevator music one. I really like that one. Untitled 04 was the really like, it's a lot more like quiet and calm. It's not as, like fast-paced rap as the other ones, but it's still a good track. It's not up there with my favorites, still like 06, 07, and 02. Again, 3 stellar bangers, and then the rest are still good tracks. I think it's definitely better than the Black Panther album. I put it in great. I think that's fair. Section 80 was his first dedicated studio album that he released. It has some of his most memorable bars, most memorable beats, most memorable everything. It's a overall great album in my opinion. It's not it's certainly a little underrated. I'd go as far to say. It doesn't take directly from the perspective of Kendrick himself like it does in his other albums. It takes more from the perspective of not more. It takes from the perspective of some girls, Tammy, Keisha, I really suck at speaking. It takes the perspective of some girls pretty much in the era of the crack epidemic in Compton and just around America, and it was obviously horrible in Compton. It takes the storyline of them, and it's a really sad story, but it's a really sad story, but it's a really good album. Kind of sounds weird to say, but it touches on a lot of race issues, a lot of drug issues. Like, it touches on a lot of issues. It's amazing poetry, and there's so many songs on it that are so memorable, like Rigor Mortis, ADHD, Fuck Your Ethnicity, High Power. They're just all such memorable records. Like, hold on, let me go look at the track list real quick. Yeah, and there was even more. Hole Up, Keisha's song, like AB's Soul was amazing on the album. It was just such the vocals are super raw. It's sad. It's really good though. I really enjoyed the album. I put it in amazing. It was the first time I listened to it. It was probably, I got as emotional over it as I did, listening to it as other albums. I say emotional, but it's like I got as invested in the story as I did the other ones. It's just this is the most inexperienced Kendrick we got to listen to, and it was authentic. It was the first of his career. Great album to start off with. Most artists would love to have an album on that level. Damn, his most commercially oh my fucking god, dude. His most commercially successful album to date. It has his most played song of all time. I think probably his top 3 or 4 most played, to be honest, along with All the Stars and Money Trees and stuff. Speaking of that, there's no super popular Section 80 songs except for High Power, which I didn't mention. Slaps. But yeah, Damn is... I kind of didn't like Damn. It was as a matter of fact, Lust was the very first Kendrick song I ever listened to. I put him on shuffle. Big mistake. Lust is a very, to get a good representation of Kendrick, that being the first song was a really bad one. I regret it a lot. obviously I came back later and I started to enjoy him more. But Damn is, it's a, from top to bottom, a really good, just a really good album. It's like like there isn't much to say about that isn't said about other albums in his discography and other rap albums in history. It does have that cool thing it does, where it has a cool thing where if you listen to it from top to bottom and from bottom to top, it tells a different story. A story of him going from happy, proud to sad and broken, and just the other way around. And it's just it's a really, it's like it's just such a, it's a great album. I there's nothing I can't say about it that I don't say about the other albums. There are some, it has so many, as one thing I can say, it just like Section 80, it has, as a whole, it might not be my favorite, but it has my favorite, like some of my favorite tracks on it as a, like just as a singularity individual. Like obviously Humble and DNA are super popular, super good, but Duckworth, XXX, Fear, Element, like songs like that are just such, I don't know, they really appeal to me. I get it, the Element is a fucking meme, get elemented. Like, you know, like, I keep saying like too much. Damn is a amazing album. Not good, not great, not God tier. Amazing. Oh shit, bruh. I don't want to debate. Good Kid, Mad City. Some people will disagree with this take for sure, and I completely understand where you're coming from. Good Kid, Mad City is my favorite, and I think it's Kendrick Lamar's best album. Not by a lot. I'm not going to say it's by a lot, because it isn't. But it is. It's my favorite album. It was... There's no album I've ever listened to that has the same cinematic experience that this one does. This could be genuinely converted into a fucking movie. It could. Not saying it should. They would probably adapt poorly, but like you can listen to the lyrics, listen to the beats, and it stays into the same storyline, and you just follow it so perfectly. The story of Kendrick being a teenager and growing up in Compton. It's the most down to himself and not anyone else. Like, it's about his life. Like, obviously, Damn explores his life. To Me Butterfly explores his life. But Good Kid, Mad City explores a specific era. And it's so captivating to me. Every song on it is a banger. There's no song on it that I skip. Ever. I'm of the opinion that 10 out of 10s do exist and they should be given, but they should only be given to the best of the best. And Good Kid, Mad City to me is a 10 out of 10. It is, I can't praise it enough. It's such a beautiful, great album. You want to get hype, listen to it. You want to just chill, so listen to it. There's no wrong place to listen to this album. The vocals on it, spectacular. It's like every track, the beats, the production, it's fucking stellar. Like every little bit and nook and cranny of this album, it's enjoyable. It has great writing. I can't praise it enough. It's such a perfect album to me. And from top to bottom, Shireen is, as much as people like say it's bad, I liked it. I liked Shireen. It set up the album perfectly. It set up the story. It gave me a good perspective of what was going on. Backseat Freestyle, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, which are the two songs afterwards. Great songs. Good for, again, chillin', vibing. And then, Backseat Freestyle, fucking getting hype and shit. And then it has Poetic Justice with Drake, Money Trees with J-Rock and Anna Wise, I think. Was it Anna Wise, or am I, being acoustic? That girl who does the bucket-headed hose, no way. Whatever, I don't remember who did it. But whatever, there was Money Trees, obviously, super popular. I shouldn't say it got ruined. It kind of got ruined by TikTok, but I'm not going to here to bitch about that. But it's a great song. And then you get onto Good Kid and Obviously, Mad City being one of my favorite songs of all time. Swimming Pools, which is spectacular. Just the party song to play. And then you get to Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, and you just cry. I cried. Don't even care if I sound like a bitch. I cried. It was so heartfelt. And then the two songs afterwards, Real and Compton, I feel like, yes, they could be done away with. And I feel like Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. Okay, your first listen of the album, it's after you finish Sing About Me, you're like, oh, I finished the album. That's no. I mean, never mind. After you finish Sing About Me, in your first listen, in your first one or two listens, you're like, oh, I'm gonna listen to Real and Compton, and they fit in the album. You feel a little bit, not completely, but you feel a little bit. But as time progresses, the more and more I feel like Sing About Me is the end of the album. I'm not joking. Every time I ever do a full listen, sometimes I just stop at the end of Sing About Me, because that feels like the ending. He started a new life, and he found peace. Real feels like such a thrown-in song. It's the only song I would take out if I had a choice. It was I feel like it was just thrown in there. But it's definitely by no means a bad song either. Like, I feel like if there was snippets for Good Kid, Mad City like there was Untitled and Mastered, I feel like Real would go there. But he didn't have a place to slap it, I feel. I mean, he probably did, but whatever. That's not here to argue. And then Compton was a great ending track. I don't know why. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It, just it's not a super, like, get fucking hype, but it was just a nice, like, yeah, it's an upbeat song. It makes you, like, feel good. Like, it's a feel good song, right? The chorus, I'm King Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if he says I'm. It's such a, I think that's enough of me praising it, though. It's such a perfect album to me. Purely to me. You could hate it, I wouldn't argue. I mean, I would argue that, actually. I would fight on a fucking hill for this album. But, like, if you want to say, oh, it's amazing, I'm not gonna. If you want to say, this is better, I'm still not gonna argue you. I think it's a little, it's preference. It's merely preference for me. But, To Pimp a Butterfly, I could give it the exact same spiel, but the only difference between these two albums that might make me think that this one's better is that I feel like this one has better highlights, has higher highs. Okay, I just, like, cut out the audio, my bad. Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. To Pimp a Butterfly, it has really good highlights, for me at least. I think it has much higher highs, but I think there's some, dare I say, there are some tracks on this album that I just don't like. Dare I say, like, Complexion is one of my least favorite Kendrick songs ever, if not my least favorite. It's genuinely down there. Obviously the For Sale and For Free interludes, they're kind of underrated, actually. I feel like they get too much hate and are instantly thrown to the bottom. They're not even that bad, but yeah, I get where people are coming from with those. Institutionalized is a really basic track. Snoop Dogg had a great part in it. It's a good song. It's by no means a bad one, but it doesn't stack up to some of the Good Kid, Mad City songs for me. But then into Pimp a Butterfly, there's a few just absolute bangers, like The Black of the Berry, How Much a Dollar Cost, Mortal Man, These Walls, which are all absolutely bangers. Just, I love them. They're on the same level, if not better, than some of the songs in Good Kid, Mad City for me. But there's one, so, like, if you just take those tracks, you take the basic track list, you take my enjoyment of the albums, they're on par level, if not Good Kid, Mad City a little more. The only thing that would possibly tip the scale for me would be Wesley's Theory. Wesley's Theory is my favorite song of all time. Wesley's Theory is, I'm not joking, like, hold on. Like, if we look, okay, the top tracks last 6 months. Also, I love this website, but like the last 6 months, Wesley's Theory prevails. It just does. Last 4 weeks, it's number 5. Like, and also bangers. And just more Good Kid, Mad City here. I don't listen to the deluxe version. I don't know why. I just never have. There's literally no reason. I just like the cover more. All right. There's some bangers in here. I don't want to. No. Shh. You guys don't get to see the all time. It's really sad. Okay. I don't like showing it. It's really fucking bad, dude. But basically, Wesley's Theory is my favorite song of all time. It would tip it. The more I think about it, I'll always enjoy this album more. I think there's more good songs on this because of how many songs there are that are bangers. It's still a great storyline. I say still like I'm not like I knock it at all. I'm not. It's a consistently a streamline of good, great. It's just all great songs. They all fit together. They make this amazing story. It didn't get put into like the Library of Harvard or Congress. Where did it get put into? What library? In the canon at Harvard Library, along with Gnosis, Illmatic, and a few other things. So, it also, excuse me for my spelling on the fucking thing. But yeah, so it got put in the Harvard Library, which is the second highest, like, library you can be put into below the Library of Congress, in the United States at least. It is that influential. It's that good. It speaks on every kind of issue you can think. It speaks on depression. It speaks on political issues, like everything. It speaks on the struggle of being black. It speaks on being poor. It doesn't really speak on drug addiction that much, now that I think about it, comparatively to some of the other albums. But that, like, it matters, dude. It's such a, like, it's such a, I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words. These two up two. If you want to say one's better, I don't care. You want to say one's more enjoyable, I don't care. You want to say one has better, like, whatever tips the scale for you, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Because these two albums defined, I don't know, they defined an era for me. And they still are defining an era. It's a pleasure that I get to live in the same era as Kendrick Lamar. Alright? Like, I'm kind of deriding him, but I always do. Don't worry, this is nothing new. You're gonna experience this for a long fucking time. Yes. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, this is my tier list. Like every other choice I've ever made, you wanna drop something up or down a tier. Like, if you want to do this, I wouldn't care. If you wanted to do this, or this, whatever you want to do, I don't really care. I wouldn't, like, hardcore debate you. Like, if you were like, I want to do this, then I'd be like, or yeah, if you want to do something like this, I'd be like, okay, where are you coming from? Like, I wouldn't debate you, like, be like, you're wrong. I'd just, like, I'd wonder what you're thinking, you know, when you're thinking of that little noggin of yours. That's just what I just ask what you're thinking. Yeah, I don't get too heated over music, really. Like, music debates at all. The only debates I get heated over are NBA debates, which, don't worry, we'll get into some NBA stuff soon. Whew, just you fucking wait. I got some hot-ass takes that no one likes. And it's beyond just Michael Jordan, LeBron takes, Kobe takes. It's beyond that. I got some fucking real heaters, dude. But yeah. If you want me to do a Travis Scott one, maybe not the discog, because Travis Scott has a pretty small discog. If you want me to do a Kanye discog, I'll definitely do that. If you want me to do a Iron Maiden one, just any artist you can think of. If you want me to do their discog or their songs, I'm alright with it. I'll do it. Definitely. If you want to rate the songs or whatever. Pretty much if you can, just anything, any hip hop you want me to rate or think about or tier list, I'll do it. I don't really care. I'll probably like it unless you suggest, like, I don't know. There isn't much really. Yeah, so that's gonna be all for now. Thanks for watching. Peace.